Good afternoon, all. I'm Dharmendra Sharma. I run a company called uh, Mamleshwar Clean Fuel Private Limited. Before coming here, I was thinking that I will enlighten you guys about my company. After coming here, I saw that I'm the lightest one. You people are talking about the futuristic technologies, big investment, big technology. We are doing a very, very simple work. What put it into a simple word, we collect crop waste from the farmer's field and we convert it into a densified fuel, that is an industrial fuel. So here is my company. In the next slide, please. So there the problem comes in. The farmer generally used to burn their crops in the field. Earlier it was not happening. Now it is happening because farmer wanted to utilize the land at maximum. Like he also have the IIR. Like he is not like that much time that he will manage his wet. So he just burn it, and that burning come into the atmosphere and create a problem out here in Delhi NCR. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. So if you see the Delhi scene during winter, this is the situation which happens in the Delhi, because dense fog created and those SOx, NOx come out in Delhi. It is not predominantly only the crop burn, but many factors are there. The carbon being the main capturing for this particular problem. The next slide, please. So, as United States has already said that it is no more global warming; it is global burning now. So we are at the situation now. So the next slide, please. So what we does, like the farmer come with their crop waste to our plant. We have a process which is called densification. We put that crop waste, the shredded material. We don't put any kind of innovation into. We don't put any winder into it. We have a simple process wherein that simple densification and the product come out is called briquettes and pellet. And and pellets are the quite usable industrial fuel, and it is not being used by the retailers one. The large MNCs like PepsiCo, Coke, McLeod Pharma, Unilever, they are our clients. Their boiler is 100% converted into this fuel, because as per their SCG norms, they can't use coal for their manufacturing process, so they have to be converted into a biofuel. So that is how this fuel has been used there, and those boilers are 100% run. It is not a blending like in Power Genco that is saying that 5 to 7% blending is required. Those boilers are 100% run on our fuel. If we don't provide them, it is like a situation that they can't operate. That kind of situation is there. Next slide, please. So this is the process. The raw material comes to our plant. Farmers take the raw material to the plant. We unroll it at our site, and then we do a screening wherein a small bit of mud or stones has been separated out. Drier it is needed in during the winter season if there is a moisture inside the raw material. And then there's a briquetting press machine is there. It's a very simple machine. We put a 100 kVA motor and generate it through the electricity, and there's a stroke mechanism wherein the same fuel, the feedstock which is going into the machine is densified. And the process of densification, because this is a continuous stroke process, the lignin is generated out of this biomass, and that becomes that works as a binder to the fuel. And the densification and binder, it increases the gross calorific value of the fuel. Otherwise, if you run in loose, you can't get that kind of gross calorific value. Here densification is around 900 kilocal, and that is how the cylindrical format fuels comes out of the process. The next slide, please. So now the comparison, like we have made the fuel. Now if you compare with the briquettes and pellet with the coal, because coal we are working in the replacement of coal. We can't replace the coal, but whatever the little bit we can do. So if we see the gross calorific value, Indian grade coal, the Assam, Jhajaria, and the even Indonesian low grade coal, 4,000 kilocalorific value, and we have that kind of a kilocalorific value coming out of biomass. If we go into the some kind of a value enhancement, if we add sawdust or groundnut cell, we can achieve even 4,200, 4,500 kilocal as well. So if you see the comparison, the cost-wise comparison, if you see, the briquettes is like the most feasible one if you compare with the coal or furnace or CNG, PNG. Entire Delhi NCR, the coal is completely banned, so nobody can use the coal. So this is coming closer way, and it is also saving the environment and the feasible for the replacement of the coal. Next slide, please. So now come to the co-firing. Like Government of India has introduced that all the power gencos have to blend their coal with 5% mandatorily this biomass thing. So if we go by that notion, the India will require 1 lakh metric tons of a biomass on a daily basis for only for the gencos. We are currently providing for gencos, like last figures which have came from NTPC, it was like they have used only 1.5 lakh metric tons of pallet from last 3 years of their production. If they start using at a capacity of 5%, they will require 1 lakh metric ton on a daily basis. So that kind of a demand is there. The only afraid part is that when people talk about the CBG, ethanol, and now starting SAF also, they also want this particular feedstock. So where our feedstock will come? So that's the worry part, that we have the same ecosystem happening. And today I learned that the SAF is also required the biomass. So I'm afraid that my biomass, which is like, where it will come from, that everybody will take, and they are the heavy capital incentive work, and we don't have that kind of capacity. We are the smaller ones. So
but you are in the right industry.
Yeah,
you are in the right industry if every customers are here itself.
But I'm afraid that they will take away my feedstock.
But that will be utilized to generate SAF.
But where I will go? Okay, next slide, please. So these were the mapping, like which I was talking about, the 1 lakh metric ton per day requirement for power gencos only. We are currently not supplying to the power gencos. This is the industry which have been there earlier also, like 10, 12 years it has been there. Now the demand has increased in multifolds now. More slide, next slide. So this is the soft part of our presentation. Like, we are providing additional income of 5,000 rupees per acre. Earlier, that same farmer was burning that crop residue, or otherwise he was spending to manage that, the mulch it down, the in situ management and all. Now he's getting the money for that. So we are increasing the farmer's income. We are sustaining the agriculture by putting, because my plant has to set up in the village itself. I cannot set up a plant in Delhi NCR. I have to go to the same village where I am putting my plant. So 15 people, 20 people are working on my plant. So I'm generating employment, direct employment. Then the people, like 15,000 metric ton has been collected from sources. Few farmers are coming, like 50% of the feedstock are directly coming from the farmer, and few small time entrepreneurs who are aggregator, they are bringing. So that entrepreneurship and then employmentship is also generated. And the soil, when the farmers won this particular feedstock on the field itself, the topsoil is get burned and the fertility of the soil is goes down. So we are working in that aspects as well. And the reducing air pollution, which is already said, if you burn the the feedstock at the field itself, it generates 2.5 times of the carbon. However, when people ask that how this is carbon nutrient, it is like whatever the crop has already absorbed the carbon from the atmosphere, we are emitting the same, and we are emitting in the controlled environment, like it is getting burned inside the boiler. So where the EPS systems are there, so it is rather safe bet on the burning side. Next slide, please. So this is our company. We have 4 different companies. We operate in Madhya Pradesh, 3 different plants. We have 1 plant in Sirsa, Haryana, where we manufacture 100 metric tons on a daily basis. Other plants is also briquettes, pellets plants, where Total capacity of our group is around 1,000 metric tons on a daily basis, sir. Thank you very much. I think I'm on time.
Thank you, thank you. Are there any questions for him?
I have one question, if you don't mind. If you look into this plan, and I mean this is the amazing innovation. Looking into issue with the NCR has in terms of the pollution during the winter months. So, how far that problem has been arrested now?
If we compare the fires, because we from last 3 years we were catching the fires, number of incidents of fires through the satellite. So Haryana has reduced 95% of the fires. Punjab is still there because Punjab is largely Parali dominated, and the time window between Parali and the next sowing is very, very nominal. So Punjab is still like 50% has been reduced, but in Haryana 90% farm fires has been reduced.
Thank
Quite
you.
significantly.
But in Punjab, nothing can be done, or how is it?
The problem with Punjab is that the waste biomass generated there is enormous, So, and it is like you run for 400 kilometers, you'll find the same crop across, So managing that crop in 40 days of a smaller window is a very challenging task. Yes, sir.
Dharmendra, see, I think the root cause of this problem arose from mechanized harvesting.
Okay, sir.
Because you leave the stalk of the wheat harvesting at a height where you cannot do the next plowing.
Okay.
So this is a problem that has come out from mechanization because you need 3 crops. Earlier there were 2 crops.
Right, sir.
Even in Punjab, Haryana, an area where I come from. Now this business of pollution around Delhi, yes, farm fire is visible. But I can tell you that you drive along this tract, you will find all the furnaces being fired, whether brick kilns or anything after sunset.
Yeah.
Because that smoke which is being emanated is not visible anywhere. And then because of atmospheric conditions, at certain times of the year, there is no air movement, it settles down. I am a Delhi-born boy. Fog used to be here all the time when we were kids also. You couldn't see the school bus in the morning. But yes, there's some atmospheric phenomena, but I think the main culprit is trying to get 3 crops you don't have in the mechanized farming. You're leaving that high stubble there, which has to be burnt off.
I'll just add
And their
to that.
labor costs. But it's a very good phenomena. I know I speak to young officers being trained, they call me. They've been put on the job that they've got to get this stubble burning off. But let's not say that this problem is for other reasons. It's because for economic reasons, you want 3 crops. And you see, again, mechanization comes at a cost also. Punjab is as they call a mechanized farmer.
Yeah.
He is quick to do it. That's why you are having probably some problems there in Punjab. In Haryana, not so much mechanization, still there is hand harvesting. And you see the land size is much smaller. So wherever there are smaller holdings, you will not have mechanization.
Sir, it's a very interesting thing that, whenever we talk about agricultural residues, we only talk about Parali because it affects the Delhi atmosphere. If you really look at Punjab, Haryana, Western UP, Madhya Pradesh, all put together, the total paddy straw which is being burnt is in the range of about 48 to 50 million metric tons a year. But across the country, there are other agricultural residues which are being burnt to an extent of about 187 million metric tons. And nobody notices it because it doesn't happen in the month of September and October, which affects the Delhi weather. It affects the rest of the country, which is not being looked into. And like you identified the problem with the Parali, there are different problems with different crops. I'm talking about only 11 crops. which are major crops in this country. But there are many other crops which have not been studied, where we have been burning. Say, for example, I will give you an example in Karnataka where we grow tur dal. And that is where most of the tur dal is coming from, but all that agricultural 99% is being burnt. Once again, when you grow, for silk, when you do the silk rearing, when you grow that crop, all that woody matter, only about 5% is being briquetted. That answers his question as to what do we do if somebody is competing for our feedstock. There is enough feedstock for your second generation ethanol, sustainable aviation fuel, biogas, and also for your NTPC meeting 5%, 10%, or even replacing 100%. Just for the audience here, there has been some study that has been done. If you translate the total energy into carbon molecules, the total energy that is being consumed in the country is in the order of about 350 million metric tons of carbon. And from the wasted resources, whether it is agricultural resource, residues, municipal solid waste, animal dung, all of them put together, we have somewhere around 450 to 500 million metric tons of carbon. Now, the question, like Preeti ji was talking about, is how do you make this carbon available to us for converting it? One is making it available to the industry and having the right kind of technology to map onto this kind of carbon and convert them into kind of a useful product. This is where I think we really need to be looking into as to, where are these resources and how do we aggregate it and what is the kind of technologies that we are going to be mapping onto it ultimately. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.